Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has declared the government's intention to ban corporal punishment within households, mirroring the successful implementation of such measures in schools over the past 30 years. Kaysia Kerr, CEO of the National Parenting Support Commission, an agency of the Ministry of Education and Youth, has expressed support for the prohibition of corporal punishment, and she joins us now to talk some more about that. Good morning, Kaysia.
Good morning, Delia.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time. But one of the things that we said in the leading was the successful ways in which you have managed, well, the Ministry of Education, of which you are part, to minimize, because I'm sure it still exists to some extent, corporal punishment in schools. What has been the effect of that?
Thank you for the question. One of the ways the Ministry of Education in general has proposed to reduce the incidence of corporal punishment is through positive behavior intervention and support. There is a program, an initiative called the SWPBIS, School-Wide Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. And what it really does is creates a school culture where positive behaviors for discipline are promoted. Mm-hmm. And to an extent, that has been successful in the schools where that has been implemented. In other situations, through curriculum like HFLE, where children are encouraged to have a voice, then there is a better understanding of child development, the behaviors that are associated at different stages, and the classroom is now more open to having children express themselves, and teachers are more prepared, I believe, through their own training to understand behaviors a little better, and so their response to behaviors are better, I believe.
How do you respond to criticism that because you have minimized corporal punishment, the discipline in schools is far worse and the children are harder to control?
Well, you know, the discipline in school is really reflective of what's happening in the home and the wider society, because children mirror what they see. Teachers have a really difficult time now trying to grapple with not just the behaviors that present in schools, but the behaviors that are coming from the homes and the communities. Mm-hmm. And so every morning when children come in, it's almost as if you have to detox. But they go back to those other environments. And so that is why the National Parenting Support Commission is working at the home and community levels in support of schools to ensure that everybody understands where we have to be, given the fact that violence in general and aggression are on the rise.
Yeah. Now, part of the proposed, or the route for this proposed ban on corporal punishment in homes, mm-hmm. as you say, is sponsored or fueled by the success of its ban in schools. But is there any other type of material, say scientific data, that is pushing this particular position?
Well, the WHO does have a lot of data to support that. Countries just world over where you see corporal punishment featuring heavily, then there are socio-emotional issues that children present, even maladaptive behaviors. It affects academic outcomes. And so it's also part of the Sustainable Development Goals for Vision 2030 that says we're to end violence and abuse against children. Right. So there is a greater push worldwide for a ban on corporal punishment.
Yeah. But besides the global push and the global data which you referenced just now, is there anything in terms of a study or studies in Jamaica which are informing it? Because globally we understand, yes, this general need to move in a certain direction, but then culturally you have to adapt for the context in which you're...
Certainly. Well, the National Parenting Support Commission, we've done focus group surveys over time, and we have found that where there is harsh punishment in the home, those children are not as adjusted as we want them to be. They're also not as open, and they don't necessarily do well academically. Sometimes they produce, but it's because of fear rather than because of, a natural inclination to progress. And so we do have that amount of data. And the Early Childhood Commission, too, would have data because they went ahead and banned corporal punishment even before the wider school system. And so there is support for the push at this point.
Yeah. Following up on what Garth has said in terms of the cultural context, one of the things that I think a lot of people are concerned about is how do we empower the parents to enact different types of punishment, because culturally, corporal punishment is what most of us have grown up on and know. So the teachers have had training, and they have background in child psychology and so on. The parents don't. How are we, and how is your organization going to help parents?
It's a great question because parents are not born technical people, and generally speaking, we parent the way we were parented. We have been doing a lot of work on the ground in schools and in communities, educating and training parents in other methods, and just to open up the conversation in honest ways about discipline, because there is a misunderstanding that punishment is discipline. And so we have been teaching. I'm happy to say that this year alone, through the schools with support from guidance counselors, social workers, even school nurses, we have managed to train over almost 90,000 parents thus far. And that's between last fiscal year and this time now. And we're seeing a shift. It does take time because this is an embedded cultural practice, but people are more open to trying new things, and that's what we're asking. We're asking that people be open, be honest about the circumstances that are leading to the frustrations that present where corporal punishment is concerned. I want to just quickly add that in 2020, I was sitting at my desk and got a call, and it was a mom from Clarendon saying that she's frustrated with her child. The child was 3 years old. I said, what's the frustration? So the child isn't listening. She's out of control. I said, explain that. What do you mean? She says, when I speak to her, she doesn't listen. And I went to the market. I told her not to pick up something. And she did. And I picked up something and she followed me. I said, but she's 3 years old. And she's mirroring what you did. And she's not understanding the potential harm, I beg your pardon, of picking up what she saw you pick up. And by the way, at 3 years old, that's curiosity. It's quite natural. When I checked and we talked a little more, I realized she was unemployed. So really, the frustration that he felt while she slapped her child had nothing to do really with the child having what she called being out of control, but what was going on in her own life. So part of the conversations we have with parents is looking at antecedents. What's really going on with you? What's driving you to behave this way? And once we can help them to fix and resolve those issues, then we find that it's lessened and we hope eradicated.
Yeah. Okay. The phrase support is in your organization's name, National Parenting Support Commission. Yes. How can we learn more and so on? We do have a website, npsc.gov.jm. We can be reached through any of the Ministry of Education regional offices. We do have a helpline, 876-560-9272. And you can just call us, right. Somebody will be there to answer. Yeah, that's what we need. Kaysia Kerr, she is the CEO for the National Parenting Support Commission. And when we return, it's all about the Chinese Embassy and the Ernest Institute for the Gifted, Hyperactive, and Talented. Stay with us.